Generating Good Deeds is a mission of this organization started in Israel by Sherry Arison. In a few short years, more than 250,000 volunteers have become part of this Pay It Forward experience. Travel Television spoke with Sherry in Washington, D.C.
Well, Good Deeds Day started in Israel 7 years ago. We've been growing every year. This year in Israel, 370,000 people went out to do a good deed in 5,200 projects. It's crossed all borders, cultural borders, young, old, all religions. It's quite amazing. And we're out of Israel now, 50 different countries going out to do a good deed. And we're here in Washington where there's 3,200 people going out to do a good deed. Here in the Jewish Community Center, they're making sandwiches for the homeless. And this morning I was in common farming where they farm and give the food to the homeless as well. So it's quite amazing. The idea of Good Deeds Day is that everyone can do a good deed, big or small. If you want to go out and volunteer for a cause, that's great. Donate, that's great. But I keep saying to everyone that the idea is simple. A smile that brightens someone else's day is a good deed. If you see a piece of garbage in the street, pick it up, throw it in the trash. That's a good deed. Take your grandma to lunch. That's a good deed. So everybody's connecting. We're really creating a critical mass of people that's going out to do good. In fact, we had a huge kickoff yesterday in New York City at Times Square. So it's really catching on and people are connecting. I hope it will turn into an official international day where everyone goes out and does a good deed and that people take it into their lives on a daily basis so that people start thinking good, speaking good, and doing good every day. Well, actually, we see that people that connect on Good Deeds Day then follow up and continue to volunteer every day. We have an organization in Israel called Ruach Tovah, Good Spirit, which organizes this day, and they see that people who connect on Good Deeds Day then volunteer all year round, which is quite amazing.
Among the many events held were groups making cards for the military serving around the globe, families packing food donations for those in need, and kids generating feelings through their participation. As the mission has grown, Jewish groups in this area and other countries have joined the volunteers in Israel each year on Good Deeds Day. Through a partnership with MTV, Good Deeds efforts were encouraged at the global level.
If we want to see a different world, if we want a positive change, we should start thinking of how we can connect, how we can be together, and how we can bring positive solutions to make a difference in our world.
From Washington, D.C. and Miami to Paris, London, and Frankfurt, from New Delhi to Buenos Aires, and from Singapore to Johannesburg, people from over 50 countries across the globe join the collective effort to make the world a better place by doing good.
In her book, Activate Your Goodness, Sherry describes her motivation for Good Deeds Day. I believe there is a tipping point with all this energy in the world. There will always be a struggle between good and bad. Yet I believe we can move the tipping point in the direction we want it to go. We can move it more quickly toward good if we continue to create a critical mass of people doing good, choosing good, and thinking good. Once that happens, we will suddenly see a different world. Another interesting travel find is autoslash.com. This is a website dedicated to saving travelers money on car rentals. As of this writing, they are the only site on the internet that applies the best coupons and discounts, tracks rental price changes right up to the moment you pick up your rental vehicles, and then automatically rebooks users into these savings. The service is free for travelers, so it's definitely worth your time to check out this new service. On the day that Travel Television visited to record stories of volunteers, a church celebrating its 50th anniversary came out to help others less fortunate. The sites, all in Oceanport, were homes of people who volunteered after Hurricane Sandy. Bob Cartwright has worked with the committee many months without working on his own home. This day, a few of the workers helped at Bob's house.
Today, Oceanport Cares was very fortunate to have the volunteers come from a local church, and they've gone to several of our homes here in Oceanport where the residents were out of their homes displaced by the storm. After lifting and inside repairs, they're now back in their homes to some degree and just need that extra help with finishing things around their property, moving things out of storage back into their house. And these homeowners, throughout all this recovery process, have been the same people offering their help to their neighbors. It's a real amazing phenomenon to see people like Bobby need the help, but be the first one to offer help to someone else. Core group of volunteers, Chrissy, Wendy, Chris, Buzz, they got together and thought of ways to help our town. And the wonderment of that small act of kindness on our behalf triggered people from literally as far away as Washington State and Florida to come to Oceanport on their days off for a week at a time in the hot summer. They rolled up their sleeves, they opened their hearts, brought their toolboxes and their bagged lunches, and came every day, 5 days in a row, helping tear out sheetrock, put in floor joists, put up floorboards, walls, you name it, move bushes, cut down trees. The outpouring of support from people far and wide who never even heard about Oceanport has touched so many lives here. They've truly impacted homeowners, and me, who wasn't even affected by the storm, cannot believe the outpouring of kindness and support. If you have an hour to spare or a week that people have given, it will truly be cherished and remembered for a lifetime. It puts a lot of happiness in everyone's heart to get the help and the amazing spirit of the people giving the help. You just can't imagine how truly appreciated it is. Bobby and his family suffered probably the extreme loss from the storm, and yet he was the first one there way back in October helping other people in need. So if you're willing to help, just know that the people you help are always the first person offering help for the next person. There's nothing like it, and it's truly appreciated. So thank you for all you do.
Hi, my name is Debbie Kessler. I'm the office administrator at Reformation Lutheran Church. And today, 25 members of our congregation are out working throughout Oceanport, New Jersey, trying to help our brothers and sisters put their homes back together. It's the 25th anniversary of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, and as part of that, we are having a God's Work, Our Hands Day of work. Today, we're here at Bob Cartwright's house working on his lawn and property, trying to put it back together in the hopes that it'll make a little bit of a difference for him. Other members of our congregation are throughout Oceanport. We're at 6 different homes, putting together furniture, moving furniture back into homes for people that just finished and are just getting back into their homes 11 months after the storm. Others are also doing yard work. You know, we've been up and running since the second day after Sandy hit. Our church was blessed that we did not have any damage, and we got our power back in 2 days. 11 months later, we're still helping. We're a long-term recovery site, and Lutheran Disaster Response and Monmouth County Long-Term Recovery Group both recognize that we are here for the long haul, and the low estimate is that this is going to take 3 to 5 years. Long-term, even higher estimates are 10 years. Our volunteers today, Edie and George Jansen, who are here, lost their entire business, and their son, Thomas and Megan, who are also volunteering today, lost their home, and Thomas and Megan are still not back in their home. They're from Union Beach, and George, I think, can probably tell you better about that stuff than me.
My name is George Jansen, and I was infected pretty drastically. I'm in the boat business. I am part owner of Browns Point Marine Service, and our buildings the day after the storm hit were demolished. I did all the preparations for the storm, got back to my building the next morning, and all there was a concrete slab. For the most part, I was done. We're now digging ourselves back up from that disaster, and we're back in business, but that's what happened to me personally. My son and daughter-in-law living in Union Beach, their home was destroyed to the point where they can't live there, and they're still not living there, and they're technically going from house to house since the storm, and we're still hoping to get some progress as far as their living quarters. As far as why I'm here, basically I understand what this storm did to the community. I understand the impact that it had on my friends and neighbors, and my church as a group got together and said, we're going to put together teams and go out and help local people that were affected by this storm. And that is why I'm here, because I realize that all of us in this community were dealt a really heavy blow, and you just need a little bit of help sometimes. And that is why I'm here, to lend a little help. New Jersey is trying to get back. There are ads out there that yes, the boardwalks are rebuilt, and yes, the pictures are pretty on the camera, but when you get down to the local neighborhoods and the people that physically live here in some of the harder struck communities, we are not back. We are to the point where we're still trying to get people back in their homes. We're still trying to resurrect properties to the point of where they were before the storm happened, and we have a real long way to go. It feels good. I mean, those of you that are watching this realizing, well, what can I do? Or I don't know what to do, or I can't do anything. Yes, you can, all right? Anybody that has any kind of time to devote to help people, it makes you feel good. It gets you out of your chair. It gets you out there realizing that people need help, and they're very gracious when you do come out and help. It's a good God feeling just to come out here and be part of a community and help the community get back on its feet. And, you know, this is not a 100-year storm situation. You know, we can't wait 100 years to fix this mess. We need to fix this mess now. And if you have time, if you're available, please contact someone, reach out, make the effort, and it'll be much appreciated by these homeowners, these businesses in this area.
Is it possible to combine a luxury vacation with a volunteer experience? At Sandals Resorts, yes it is. Sandals Foundation allows guests to select from a variety of community-based grassroots experiences depending on the location of the resort. In White House, Jamaica, a teacher took a day out of her vacation to experience a reading road trip. As you see through this interview, it's an experience she and her husband won't soon forget.
The Sandals Foundation launched in 2009 as a way of expanding the work that Sandals does here in the Caribbean, in the community, under education and environment. We operate in all the islands where Sandals, Beaches and Grand Pineapple operate. So that's Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, Jamaica, St. Lucia and Antigua. One of the elements to the foundation is getting our guests involved and our partners involved in our work through volunteering. Many of our guests want to get out into the schools and to see the children and to meet the local people in any of the regions that they went to. And we really want it to be in a structured, focused kind of way, so that not only was the guests getting an opportunity to meet the children, but the children were benefiting from the journey as well. So we came up with a reading road trip, which really allows guests to go out and work with children in the schools that are not doing as great at reading as they should be for their grade level. So the guests go out and read to the kids. They have games that have to do with learning phonics. And really and truly, the children get so excited because of the fact that they have a guest speaker. They get to know about other areas in the world, whether it be Canada or the States or the UK.
As a teacher, I really wanted to do this reading road trip because I knew it would really broaden my knowledge of the education system in a different part of the world. To put a smile on a child's face from a different country is very fulfilling. It was the best day of my trip. Before I came here, I went out and I bought supplies, and I bought some books and some little candy to give to the children. And I have to say, it is the most fulfilling experience, seeing the smile on their faces.
We sort of said it was probably like the best social studies class you could ever give a school.
It's also created partnerships for when our guests leave Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean, because they want to get more involved in how they can make a difference in the education system here. Unfortunately, many of the schools here are overcrowded and lack certain things that they do have overseas. So it's given them an opportunity to see that and to develop partnerships, whether it be to put book drives, to put those in place from overseas, school supply drives, or to just get involved with bringing an element of what they do in their schools there and introducing that to us so that we might bring programs to train teachers here. So it's really been a win-win situation for all of us. As guests of any of our resorts, there are many ways that you can get involved in making a difference here. One of them is just by packing with a purpose, and that's a program that we're involved with where we're inviting our guests to contribute 5 pounds of space in their suitcase to bring down much needed school supplies, and they can actually look on the website, Pack for a Purpose, to see the wish list for every region where they're visiting.
So it's just very nice, like home where we're from, we don't normally see that or have that. So to come here and experience that is great. I would simply tell other people back home when we go back that when you come here, the feeling that you get from doing what we did is just so great that it sort of tops off a vacation.
To check out the current projects through the Sandals Foundation in the many countries of the Caribbean, contact sandalsfoundation.org.
My name's John Lewis, and I'm skipper of this small craft out here. And I'm basically down here today because they're having a War of 1812 reenactment.
Produced by one amplifier. Pipes and drums playing against two. The pipes and drums are really important. Pipes and drums. There was a second. I'm trying to think of a noise.
She had to make a choice. I broke my gun. I'm really mad right now. I gave him permission to use my gun. I didn't give him permission to break it.
I got in the reenactment after my wife passed away of cancer, and I'm looking for something to do, and saw in the local paper they were looking for volunteers here for the Asquith Sharpshooters, our reenactment group. We're here today. Being a volunteer, a reenactor, it gives you something to do. It keeps you out of the bars. It meeting new people, getting to travel. It's something to have fun with, doing something constructive with your life, and educating the youngins, or shorties as they may be.
I've never been one that got caught into the computer revolution. That, believe it or not, I like real things. You can watch something on television, you can play a video game, but if you're caught on a sloop like that, when the gunfire's firing and the rain's falling and there's a good wind coming up, it's a heck of a lot different than sitting on and playing a video game.
Carrie Keenan. I'm joined in the studio by Mark Shriver, who recently completed a book about his dad, Sergeant Shriver.
Save the Children's been around for a little over 80 years, both here in the United States and also all across the world. Here in the U.S., we work on health, education issues, early childhood education issues, making sure that kids are entering kindergarten ready to learn. Internationally, doing health and education, HIV/AIDS work, micro-lending to make sure that families have the resources to grow businesses really in their own homes. But in both here in the U.S. and abroad, we also do disaster preparedness, response, and recovery. So we work in the U.S. with state, local, and federal governments, making sure that kids' needs are addressed in the planning for a disaster, but then in the implementation of responding to that disaster, and then staying there long-term for the long-term recovery. And we do that internationally as well as in the U.S. So we responded to Katrina. We were in New Jersey and in New York for Sandy, and up in Connecticut as well. We were in Sandy Hook a couple of hours after that shooting almost a year ago. And we're in the Philippines, in Haiti, after those huge disasters in the last couple of years. We need volunteers. Go to SaveTheChildren.org. We always need volunteers to go out and help. Money is important, especially on disaster responses. But getting people engaged and caring about kids and the issues of poverty, both here in the U.S. and abroad, is a real mission for Save the Children.
And in your book, you also talked about how he was trying to be a servant to people. How did that inspire you or resonate with you throughout your life, and then subsequently as you were reading the book, or writing the book, after that?
Well, look, my father had a unique ability to see everybody as a gift from God, and that was important to support and to learn from that person. I'm not as good as he is. It's hard to do. He was really good at it. The name of the book is A Good Man, and my daughter told me after I wrote this book, I'm going to write a book about you, Dad. And I said, oh, that's nice. What are you going to call it? She said, An Okay Dad. So it's hard. It's hard to focus on the person and not worry about something that happened in the past or something that might happen in the future. And what I learned from my father is you got to be in the moment, and you got to value every moment you have, because you don't know if you're going to get any more.
So what are your thoughts on the future of volunteering?
I think the younger generation is very much engaged. I think they want to do more for the community, both globally as well as locally, and all across the country. There's so many people that want to get engaged. I think we just got to continue to give them the opportunities and encourage them. I think we got to say you got to get off your butts. You got to stop looking at your iPhone and playing video games. I see that's the tension. People are so enamored with their electronics. Mm-hmm. And you're not getting up and moving. Mm-hmm. But I think once they're given those opportunities and encouraged, they're doing great work. Saw a lot of volunteers down in the Gulf Coast after Katrina and Rita. We saw a lot of volunteers, amazing stories up in New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut after Hurricane Sandy. And we see it, Save the Children sees it in the Philippines and in Haiti. There's a lot of folks that want to volunteer. So I think the movement's alive. I think it's doing well. I think we got to keep pushing. We can always do better.
So it's a positive thing as long as we keep the positive force going.
Absolutely, and I think the show is important to get that message out that there really is a need for volunteers, and you're going to get more than you give. It takes time, it takes maybe some vacation days, but you're going to grow as a human being. You're going to make a connection with other human beings that is going to be really powerful in your life. Whether you're volunteering at Special Olympics, or you're volunteering at Head Start, or you're volunteering for Save the Children, doing our work responding to disasters, or any organization, Habitat for Humanity. They're such powerful experiences for you.
Absolutely. And once you have those experiences, it's been my observation that people who have those experiences want to share them with others and encourage others. So once they have
it's exciting.
That, and it just builds from there.
It builds, yes, absolutely. People, it changes their lives. Mm-hmm. Get out and you volunteer, you make a difference in a kid's life or in a person who's had a tragedy in their life, they've lost their homes, they're never going to forget you. Mm-hmm. And that makes you feel like you're human, you're alive. You're helping somebody else instead of just worrying about your own skin.
Mark's book is A Good Man, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. This is Travel Television, Carrie Keenan.
Today I'm visiting Cai Be, a small village along the Mekong Delta, and I'm doing it by boat. Every village I've seen in Vietnam has differences, but they all have one thing in common: a love of rice. So we took a little side trip and we're actually checking out how they make popped rice. What you see in there is black sand, and the sand is very hot. It actually went in golden, and over time it becomes black. This gentleman here, he's a master at this, and he's gonna add some brown rice, and he's gonna make what they call popped rice, which is another, I guess, another term for Vietnamese fast food. What you have here is the finished product. What you would think of in the States as a Rice Krispies treat. But hold on, Rice Krispies are for kids. How about something for adults? So one of the things you'll learn in Vietnam is how to make rice wine. What they do is they take steamed rice and they sprinkle it with yeast. Once they do that and they mash it all together, they take it over here and they put it in one of these pots. And they let it sit for about a week until it ferments. Once it's fermented, they take it and they move it over here and they put it in a pot and they heat it. Up through the pipe comes the steam, and that drips into what's known as the still. Sometimes they call that moonshine, where we come from. And right there in that bottle, you have the finished product, which is the rice wine, which I'm gonna try right now. So what do you have here? We have some rice wine. All right, they call it wine. Let's see. Woo! That's wine with a kick. But I understand you have some other special rice wine, and this they call Vietnamese Viagra. So, good luck. Wow, it has a kick. So you don't get the wrong idea. Cai Be is more than Rice Krispie treats and rice wine. It's a bustling little village full of life and color.